What is up, everybody? Andreas here. As you know, or if you're new here, I have been documenting a mini series where, as a designer, I'm building out an app from scratch that is AI powered, and it's a mini AI prompt enhancer. So the purpose is that you base your draft sentence, and then you have a refined version of this sentence ready to use in any LLM. So we started this project by using a tool called Cortex Suna, which is something similar to Manus, a multi-agent tool, where I build the whole foundation and the logic behind the app, and then I used Windsurf to refine it. And this is where we left off. Have a very nice clean UI. A user is able to input text here, make my resume shorter, for example. And in the previous episodes, this is where we started adding some extra functionalities and experiment with them, like the enhancement style or the ability to change models as well, where things got a little bit tricky, I would say. During this research period and the testing period, I made a fresh repo. I also have my notes here just to remember. I made a repository on GitHub with the latest version, and I asked Suna in a fresh chat to clone this repository to its system and then start doing some security audit and generally examine the code to see if there are any vulnerabilities or anything that can cause trouble. I would say that it did that in a pretty efficient way. Here is the chat. I was asking for some optimization strategies and things were going well. But then for some reason, we are using OpenRouter as a provider because we switched from Grok. But for some reason, because I guess I was referring to many AI models, it derailed. And in the final build that it provided to me, we have a settings page that's super messed up in terms of UI and UX. And we also have Grok here, which we shouldn't have. Today, I was going to find a way to improve this or figure out a more efficient way to also present the settings page and also stick to one provider, because I really want to move ahead and refine my AI model, because I feel the idea of having this enhancement style is very confusing, and I don't know, it's causing a lot of errors. And I also need to figure out the runtime error and which model I can use that can avoid that. This was what I was doing. I was dropping stuff from Windsurf to Suna, from Suna to Windsurf, screenshots and all that. And I was facing a lot of UI issues, especially with Radix and some missing components and stuff, but nothing extremely insanely annoying. But I need to find a new way to approach this, because I was very upset at how bad the settings page is. I decided to hop on Lovable, and I created first a Figma frame here, as you can see, where I have my settings and configuration, which is extremely bad. And I started adding some comments so that I can screenshot and give as much context to the AI models as possible. So few things here, mainly crammed elements, bad aesthetics, very odd spacing, very difficult to understand where you need to focus first. You have way high contrast, especially on these outlines. So we need to focus on a proper OpenRouter configuration, find a way to overcome the rate limits, improve the overall settings page, and of course do minor UI and UX fixes. So I wanted to see if Lovable can help me reimagine this. So I dropped a couple of screenshots inside, and I was actually very impressed with Lovable, as you can see from the elements that I grabbed. Because as you can see here, I started with a settings page, and it's immediately so refreshing to see very condensed things, the important things first. So you're immediately guided to add your API key, as you can see. If you don't have one, you're also redirected to the actual web page where you can get one. And then you have a way more clean and modern drop-down menu where you can choose your model. This is not a working prototype, but in terms of UI and UX, it's light years ahead of this very crammed and spammy in a way model. So I was very impressed by how nicely it looks. So I grabbed all of the elements and put them on Figma. And then what I did is that I grabbed my model that already exists, which is this one. And as you can see, the style is very similar, but I wanted to test out how Lovable can interpret this to match this closer, this aesthetic. And this is what it came up with. I'm not that impressed, to be honest, but in terms of style, it's definitely way more straightforward and easier to understand. And it matches my settings page amazingly. I love the gray tone that it has. So I'm definitely keeping this and this logic when it comes to how we present settings, at least for now. And then what I did is that I created another repo for this. Let me follow my train of thought here. As you can see, I also grabbed the modified element from Lovable. I just added my logo here on Figma because I like branding, no shit. So I just gathered my elements here to see if they make sense. And of course, I would say it's a downgrade from the previous app, but the previous app build was starting to get a bit wonky. Clunky, I don't know what the word is. We can definitely make this look more like a markdown and actually work as a markdown. But if the most important thing now is to refine my AI models and use them efficiently and see if I actually need many or just one. So this is my absolute goal now. I need to find the best absolute way to use those models. I gave this a shot. So I was, okay, let's go with this style 100%. And what I did, I made the repo of this build using Lovable, and I dropped it into a fresh Suna chat, or you can drop it into your Manus chat, whatever you. And let me bring this up. I was please clone this repo, run it on your system, start examining the code base, locate any issues, see where there's no functionality, and please refactor it accordingly. And we have now a live preview from Suna, which is this one. And as you can see, the update was major. We can definitely start adding, as you can see, our API keys here. I also had the key. It was connected successfully. I can choose my model here. I really want to try if it actually works. This bar does not work for now because, as I mentioned before, I will deviate away from the scenarios because I just simply don't understand it that well. And I want to find a way to create a custom model that can handle any type of enhancement cleverly. So for now, if let's say we can type, make my resume shorter, it should be able to enhance the text. Nice. So the enhanced text is condense my resume. So as you can see, it's not the high level enhancement that we had before, but I'm happy that we have a nicer, more clear settings page. And if the models are working well, I can definitely check the console later. But I'm having output, so that's nice. Let's try something more specific. Find the best streamer microphones under $50. Let's see. Discover top rated streaming. Okay, yeah, an enhancement is happening. So I'm very happy by that. As you can see, whenever I click on that, nothing happens. So I wanted to mention all of these things because I'm in a good position to now strictly focus on how I can make this prompt enhancement process the best ever. Because stylistically, we are here. It's a very understandable flow. Our settings page is okay. And also, while I was waiting for Suna to refactor and build stuff, I also started dropping my elements here to have a better understanding of how they look. It's also important that I added some extra effects because some elements had drop shadows, some others didn't. So that's also something that you need to take care of. And at the same time, because I didn't want to waste time, I wanted to see how far I can get and actually also create some sort of landing page that just to start ideating a bit on the brand aesthetics. So I used the same Lovable chat, but I remixed it just to have a backup. And I was please create a simple landing page that I can have, add some sort of a demo that's happening in real time for extra flair. And it actually did a nice job. You can try Prymo for free. You know what's a demo. We can definitely add some Loom video here, some extra features, a pricing plan, whatever it is. But in just a few prompts, I was able to also have a landing page immediately in the same chat because Lovable understood the style. So I just grabbed this, I put it into my Figma file, and I can refine here easily. So this whole flow of using Suna or something Manus to handle the initial foundational heavy duty, and then using something Windsurf or Cursor to drop this build and refine it more by actually sticking to certain elements inside the page or certain code bases. It's a nice flow to use. And of course, whenever you feel stuck or that the AI code builders are just start going on loops or they're creating those super ugly models, this one, then it's also a great idea to drop a couple of screenshots into Lovable and ask it to specifically refine and create the UI models that you want. So yeah, my next steps are definitely to dive deeper into how I can effectively use my AI models. And yeah, I have a lot of ideas or videos that I want to post as well. So if you're into those types of videos and you're into design workflows, you're a brand designer yourself, then it would be awesome if you can reach out. I also have a link in my bio where you can book a discovery call. I'm very new to the YouTube game as well. I run a community on school that you can check out. So yeah, I'm pretty much available. You can hit me up, especially if you're a brand designer. I feel like AI is the best next thing that you can utilize to become a better designer, honestly. So yeah, without further ado, see you in the next one.